Good morning and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay on this Sunday morning. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm. Okay, so like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those great things. If you find yourself unsubscribed, just resubscribe to the channel. Okay. People are being unsubscribed. We noticed yesterday that they were being unsubscribed again. Now we're able to tell since when people are being unsubscribed. So just resubscribe again until um this problem is deleted. Okay. I wanted to talk about former deputy sheriff, Memphis deputy sheriff Monique Johnson. Okay. Monique Johnson is a young lady who was um, accused of unaliving her former boyfriend, okay, who happened to be a Memphis police officer back in 2006. I remember that because I was around, I was working for the police department during that time. I remember everything that happened as it relates to that, right? And it was extremely shocking, although a lot of people said, especially that knew her very well, okay, was not surprised. Okay. Monique Johnson was very beautiful, really a very pretty woman. Okay. I don't know how I lost that. um I want to um let's see, go back to, okay, yeah. She was accused in 2006 of taking out Tony Hayes. Of course, that was her first boyfriend. Okay, well, not her first boyfriend, but the first man that she went on trial for taking out, right? And was actually later acquitted. Okay, Art Horn was her attorney. Of course, he had Wells with him, and well, the thing about it is, and I'm gonna get into that because, like I said, I remember when that happened to Tony. I remember all of the events that happened as it relates to what happened to Tony. When I knew Tony because I worked for the Memphis Police Department, and then when I left the Memphis Police Department, I started working for the sheriff's office, and I had just started working for the sheriff's office when this situation happened. Okay, so I remember all of the events that happened as it relates to her. This is Monique Johnson right here. Like I said, Monique was very she was a pretty woman. This is her now. She's 54 years old. Okay. It says Shelby County Sheriff's Office confirms that a woman has been arrested for waking a man with a gun pointed at his face, in addition to trying to unalive him. According to deputies, the male victim informed that he was asleep in his home on on I won't say the name of the street when he woke up to Monique Johnson, 54, pointing a weapon at him. Deputies say that Johnson threatened to unalive the man before shooting in his direction. Johnson struck the man in the shoulder. Wow. Which led to a physical fight for control of the gun. Once she regained control of the weapon, Johnson shot the man victim once again in the left hand. Oh my God. The male victim took the gun away, only for Johnson to retrieve a pocket knife and attempt to stick him with it. He was able to push Johnson out of the front door and lock it behind her. She exited the residence, taking the victim's cell phone and Apple Watch with her. Johnson was taken into custody. She is now charged with attempted murder, theft of property, and domestic assault. This is her right here. Now, let me just say this, this has happened again. And when she got off the first time, and I'm gonna revisit Tony Hayes, okay? Justice for Tony Hayes, because he didn't get none. Okay. um, you know, everybody had said that this would happen again. She had Wells and Horn as her attorney, and they was able to play the domestic violence card. Okay. Now, what I just read to you just happened the other day. Okay. I want to revisit what happened with Tony. Okay. What happened with Tony Hayes. I had it up because she was all on oxygen, and she was talking about when she was in jail, she had to get used to eating hard biscuits after she had that's the most she was worried about, eating hard biscuits. Okay, she had been a jailer. Hell, she wasn't eating no hard biscuits. Okay. Um Anyways, this is Tony Hayes. I had worked with Tony Hayes when I worked for the Memphis Police Department. I remember Tony Hayes. Okay. Tony was very quiet, very mannerable, and very reserved. Okay. He was very reserved. He did not argue. Okay. When he would bring the suspects up there, he was very calm. Okay. People used to trip out about how calm his demeanor was. If you look at his demeanor right now, you could tell that he had a real laid back demeanor. So when they went with that domestic violence defense, everybody knew she was full of crap. Okay? Because everybody knew Tony. Okay? Knew that Tony rarely said anything. That's what would trip people out. He wasn't gonna say nothing. Okay? And so everybody basically knew that that was in the know that he was ready to leave her alone because she was batshit crazy. Okay. And what she did was she took him out. Okay. A young officer, okay, with a promising future. That's him with his son. Okay. And they did a little article on it about Tony Hayes. It says in September of 2006. Okay. They did this last year. It's ironic they did this last year. Okay. And then this year, this happens. Okay. She has been on oxygen. She has been on all types of situations, telling her story, making money after she did this in cold blood. Okay. Then locked him in the trunk. Okay. After they did that, they said, how was Tony unalive? Tony Maurice Hayes was born on January 30th, 1969 in Memphis in Shelby County, Tennessee. Okay. To Eltha B. Hayes. He was a recruit of the U.S. Marine Corps before he served as an officer in the city's police department. His family described him as devoted family man and a good, responsible citizen. He had two children, a son named Dominique and a daughter named Justice. Okay. Hence, it came as a complete shock when Tony did not contact any of his family and friends for days, and then failed to pick up Dominique, then 12, on Labor Day in 2006. The father-son duo had planned a barbecue party to go after the former was done with an extra security shift at an East Memphis apartment complex. However, not only could nobody reach the 37-year-old, but they soon also learned he had not even shown up to his side hustle job during this fatal period. After picking up Dominique, Eltha filed a missing persons report. Okay, this is him right here. Okay. Tony usually had Mondays and Tuesdays off at the police department and sought leave on September 6th, Wednesday. Therefore, his colleagues waited to September 7th before they truly sprung into action and began looking for him. The local deputies eventually found Tony's cold remains brutally stuffed in the trunk of his 1999 silver Lexus in the parking lot of an apartment complex. His autopsy revealed that he had been unalived on September 4, 2006 by having taken 6 bullets from a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson in the back. His body had thus been left in the trunk for 4 days. Officials did began to look for Tony following the missing persons report, but their efforts weren't extensive, owing to him being an adult and other aspects of his daily life. Though they did immediately speak to his loved ones for information, and the first person on their list was girlfriend Monique Johnson. This is who I just was reading about in a few minutes ago. She was a corrections officer in the Memphis Police Department, but not the Memphis Police Department, it's the sheriff's office, right? And claimed she last seen Tony on the morning of September 4th. She added that they had a smooth relationship. The detectives noted that Tony's 1999 silver Lexus was missing from the driveway, but a critical piece of evidence they stumbled across was a bunch of cut up male clothing in the trash bin outside Hayes' residence. One of them admitted it could have been an indication that an angry woman somewhere cut these pieces up in the act of rage. That's how one of the reasons they was able to know that it was a woman that did it. Okay. They thus began delving into his love life and discovered he had a long string of relationships, including several ex-girlfriends and wives. According to Latanya Reed, one of Tony's ex-wives and Dominique's mother, he'd married Roger Hayes in January 2005, yet their relationship had soured within a year. Investigators were soon able to track her down in Vegas, where she worked for the Transportation Security Administration. She claimed that her intensive job and Tony cheating on her with Monique were the primary reasons behind their separation. So once her alibi checked out, she was officially ruled out as a possible suspect. That was Monique while she was on trial for Tony. Okay, so they said when Tony did not show up, even on after September 7, 2006, his colleagues in the department undeniably picked up the pace. That's when they subpoenaed his phone records and obtained a search warrant for his residence. It then came to light that he received a text on September 4th reading, "Hey, babe, do you want to go for a job?" The sending number was traced to a woman named Kim. Kim honestly did not seem much surprised when she heard Tony had been reported missing. She explained to detectives that Monique had called her from Tony's number following the text she sent on September 4th. According to her accounts, while she tried to tell the enraged girlfriend that she was only asking Tony to go for a run, she heard her accused the following missing police officer of womanizing, and then officials arrived to question Monique shortly after. There was an evident change in her demeanor. As investigators subsequently uncovered several inconsistencies in Monique's statement, they also came across a police report filed mere months before the incident on May 19, 2006. Tony was a complainant stating that he was a victim of vandalism, with someone cutting up his clothes and mattresses, whereas Monique was the key suspect. It was during this interrogation that detectives outrightly asked her about Tony's whereabouts, and she brought them to his body in a Memphis apartment complex. Okay. This is her when she was first arrested. Okay. Lord Jesus. It says, even after confessing to the unaliving, Monique continued giving inconsistent statements. She once claimed that she shot Tony in self-defense as he got physically abusive, and later alleged that her 16-year-old son, Donald, was the one to pull the trigger. However, the 6 shots to her ex-boyfriend's back and the use of the department issued gun ruled out a majority of her allegations. The fact detectives also found a blood-soaked mop and a changed bullet-riddled bathroom door further cemented their case against Monique. Monique went to trial on the charge of first-degree unaliving in February 2008, where in her own narrative of how she sought help from Donald to bundle Tony's body. Okay, now Donald was her son. At first, she said her son was one of the ones that that did it. Then she changed it and said she did it, and her son only helped. But everybody knows that she protected her son. I'm told, although that didn't come out in trial, what actually happened was, okay, they were into it, okay, and she popped him. And then once he was laying there suffering, they decided that they had to go ahead and finish him. Okay, so they both could have possibly did it. Okay. Anyways, Donna also pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact and was placed in judicial diversion program until 2011. Okay. Since Monique had already served 17 months behind bars while awaiting trial, she was given credit for the same release on 4-year probation under the condition of performing 150 hours of community service. Though she violated the stipulations and found herself back in prison in May 2008, where she was denied parole eligibility until November 2008, Monique was eventually released the following year, and now in her mid 50s. It seems like she's leading a private life. Okay, now this article was done, it looks like last year. Okay. Okay, she did violate and had to go back. Okay. Um, but she, the justice system is this was a travesty of justice. She should have gotten life. Now, let me go fast forward to when I was working there, this happened. Okay. And I remember I was doing overtime in the booking window and booking in inmates. And I remember calling up to homicides at this time was still in 201 Poplar and talking to a young man that had worked there named Cliff. And everybody was coming up with all these stories, and Monique was still coming to work. Monique was still coming to work. Okay. And they said she was saying, pray for me, my boyfriend. They can't find my boyfriend. Just keep me in your prayers. Come to work every night. Okay, every night. Okay. And the only thing she said was pray for me. Okay. Keep me lifted in prayer. My boyfriend done went missing. And that's it. Okay. That's all she said. And I remember calling Cliff and I was like, Cliff, the officer, Tony, because I was very concerned because I had contact with Tony. When he would come up there to felony response when I was working on MPD side. And the first thing Cliff said, his girlfriend did it. We had no idea that they was talking about Monique at that time. I didn't. That worked for the sheriff's office, right? And then like the next day she was arrested. Okay. you know and so Wells and Horn, which is our Horn. Okay, Wells is a real good attorney. What they was able to do was they was able to go with this domestic violence thing. Okay, make it seem like she was such a battered woman and all of that, when people that had it started to come out, people that had dated her, in the jail, some of the guys she had dated in the jail, other people that had dated her talked about how possessive she was, how violent she was, how she went into fits of rage when you tried to leave her alone. Now, Monique was she's pretty, light skinned, pretty woman. She wasn't shaped like nothing, but she was pretty, beautiful. And so she got a lot of attention because of that. But they eventually ended up having to leave her alone because of how violent she was. So even though she had people that liked her, that worked for the sheriff's office, she had friends, they would secretly say, I believe that she did do it because she's not good with accepting rejection, right? And so people was just kind of shocked when she got off with it, because like I said, they presented a case. Tony was not here to defend himself. And because Tony, he liked the ladies. Okay, he was a ladies man. He liked the ladies. She had a jewelry with quite a few women on it. Okay, so they presented this battered woman situation. They had his ex-wives to come. They did not say that he ever put their hands on her, his hands on him. They just said he liked the ladies. He cheated. Okay. And so I think based on that, I don't know why Monique was that, and Art Horn and them presenting this case, saying that, and I want to pull that up, that it was domestic violence, because even when she was on oxygen, they put that, if a victim of domestic violence, this and that man didn't do nothing to that woman but try to leave her. Okay, Monique Johnson That's one of the cases that got our name kind of ringing. Okay, on trial for Tony Hayes. Okay, I want to see if I can. Uh, she never. Here's she never had any. It says Johnson received the maximum sentence of 4 years, but Judge Paula Scon suspended the sentence and placed Johnson on probation for 4 years so she could impose conditions for the defendant to follow. I don't think placing Miss Johnson on probation will encourage women in similar situations to unalive their lovers, Scon said. I gotta see what she was actually, because she didn't get first-degree murder. Okay. She was convicted of reckless homicide because she said he was, beating her, and she tried to get the gun, I think, to get him up off of her, and or something, and the gun went off or something. I can't remember verbatim, but whatever it was a travesty of justice. And everybody, when this happened, everybody knew that knew her. They said when she gets out, years on down the line, this is going to happen again because she has a mental illness. She cannot accept rejection, and she has a mental illness. Okay, she's sick, as it relates to men. Okay, and look at it. That happened in 2006, where she took Tony out because she took him out in cold blood, and here it is, 2003. Okay. Here it is, 2003, almost 20 years later. What is it, 17 years? Okay. And it has happened again. It has happened again. A lot of people have forgotten about it. Okay. And it has happened again. Okay. But will it be justice? I mean, the criminal justice system is worse now. She might get out. She might probably already out. As a matter of fact, let me see if she's still up in there. Okay. Because she probably already out. I think it don't make no sense. Um, how Tennessee is really, the criminal justice system has been failing people. Okay, some people, I would say. Okay, because I know somebody gonna try. Cause I had told y'all about dog stuff. Like, one thing has nothing to do with another. Okay, my nerves bad. Okay, she's still up in there. Okay, she got a $300,000 bond. That lady received so much money from doing shows and stuff after she took that man out. She received so much money. It's like she was rewarded for taking him out. Okay. It looks like she might have been working for a postal service, maybe like FedEx or something like that, because that does look like a FedEx or a postal service uniform that she has on. Look at her eyes. I pay attention to the eyes. They always been crazy. Okay. Um, I'm telling you, okay. Okay, she's out there at jailies. She's got a $300,000 bond. Okay. She goes to court on October the 16th. So that means she could pay 30 G's and get out, I guess. They need to put a hold on her. That's what they need to do. Okay. When she did this before, social media was not as popular, but hopefully people talk about him. But that DA that we got down there now, I don't know what, I have to go ahead. We have to put him in the hands of the Lord, because we don't know what bag he gonna come out of. He seems to be on certain situations. He seems to be pro he seems to be pro criminals. Criminal. He seems to be pro criminal sometimes. Okay, so we have to put him in the hands of the Lord. Okay. But yeah, she's at it again. She's at it again. She's got that same look. I don't know if she's gonna let me see if she's went. Let me see if she's got a I don't know if she's gotten a lawyer. Let's see if she gonna get Art Horn, because I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's a lot of stuff happened to Art after that. Okay, it's a lot of stuff happened. I remember I was working down there. It's a lot of stuff happened to him. Even though his name went up, it's a lot of stuff happened. It's a lot of stuff happened. Okay. And so, there were a lot of rumors, about, Monique. They said Monique as it relates to Tony Hayes. It is alleged. It is alleged that, she told Stuart, she claimed that she took him out because she found out that he gave her the package. That is something that was floating around at the sheriff's office. Okay. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe she did it because Tony was ready to move on to the young lady that was texting him about exercising. Okay. He was ready to go on because, he had started dealing with her less and less, although, you know how men are, he was still dealing with her. Okay. But he should have probably just cut her off cold turkey. And he had started to kind of move on. And she could feel it. She knew it. She knew things were different. And she could not handle it. She couldn't handle it. Okay. So, I mean, hey. But yeah, Art Horn, it's a lot of stuff happened to him after that. That was not good at all. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't good at all. But anyways, you guys, I wanted to talk about that. She's at it again. She never should have been out. That's one that never should have been out. Okay. She is a cold-blooded unaliver. Okay. Because she cannot accept rejection. She cold-blooded. So, for those men, some men just have a weakness for red bones. And I'm telling you, that's a weakness, because that's a death trap right there. And she has been proving it. Because see, she got away with what happened to the other one. Hey, you would think that she tried to take this one out. She shot him twice. She was intending to take him out, and then when he wrestled the gun from her, okay, she got a knife. She shot him in the hand and the shoulder. She was aiming to take him out. He just fought her and pushed on out the door. If it was going to be another situation this time, he wasn't going to be able to be found. He wasn't going to be able to be found. I ain't know nothing, ain't seen, I ain't heard. She wasn't going to admit to nothing. And he just wasn't going to be able to be found. Okay. This lady needs to stay in jail. Okay. But anyways, I went back down memory lane on that one. As we said back in 2006, as we said, well, when she got off, we said, this is going to happen again. Okay. That lady felt like she had an entitlement. And like I said, they pulled the domestic violence card. Okay. They brought up the young man philandering ways that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. They brought up he was a police officer in shape, so he could have overpowered her. And you can't take nobody out just because they got, he liked the ladies. She knew that when he was married when she got him. Did she think he was gonna be faithful to her? She harassed his wife. She harassed his wife to the point, and I hate Tony let her did it, but hey, but she harassed his wife to the point when she moved clean cross country to Vegas. Okay. And that's probably the best thing she could have did, because she'd have been gone missing too, because she had, all right. And so she thought she was going to live happily ever after, with him. Okay. And that just was not going to happen. Because no man lives happily ever after with her. Once they find out about how she really is, they tries to run. Okay. But anyways, you guys, I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App. I'll speak with you guys later.